How you guys doing? Mandus Buckle here at Midwest Muscle Report. We're at the 2016 North Americans. We have the privilege of sitting down with our good friend, Dr. Victor Prisk. Vic, how are you?
I'm doing great, man. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Now, those of you who don't know, Dr. Prisk is an IFBB pro. He is a pro and national bodybuilder. He's an orthopedic surgeon. The latest book that he wrote is The Leucine Factor, and he will now be writing for Midwest Muscle Report regularly. So we're lucky to have him on board. Dr. Prisk, tell us a little bit about you, your background, and what has you sitting in this chair today.
Well, I think I've developed my personality in the industry mostly based on the fact that I'm a physician who became a bodybuilder, but it goes deeper than that. I was a gymnast for 20 years before that, an All-American gymnast at Iowa State and Michigan State, and then developed that into even being a professional dancer, and then combining those two things together, into bodybuilding later on while I was in my residency for orthopedic surgery. So that's when I started doing bodybuilding back in 2005. So did that. It really took off with me. Performing, I love to do that. I love to even help other people choreograph routines and do that because that's just part of me, my dance and everything in that background. But I, really took to the bodybuilding real fast. Signed up with Muscletech early on, right after my first show, and just kept rolling forward.
And back then, Muscletech was about as big as it gets.
It was back when I was my first time shooting. I was up there with Jay Cutler and even Phil and I did our first national level show together.
Wow.
How about that? So in Chicago.
There you go.
Junior Nationals.
By the way, where he is originally from.
Exactly.
Home of Midwest Muscle Report.
Lombard, Illinois. Yeah. So grew up in Lombard, went to Glenbard East, for those who know the area.
Yep.
And then kind of stuck around the Midwest, came back to Iowa State for undergrad, and then University of Illinois for medical school, and the Midwest, and then Michigan State for grad school.
There you go. So you're a true blue to the Midwest.
Yeah, true blue, Midwestern.
Yeah, absolutely.
Chicagoan, Cubby fan.
Okay. So what all of a sudden had to transition from you, obviously being an athlete and switching gears from being a gymnast to, okay, let me start this bodybuilding thing and see where it goes, and all of a sudden you found yourself with Phil Heath and Jay Cutler, and all of a sudden you're now known as one of those judges where people go to when they want some straightforward advice, where it's not a bro science. It's not. There's facts behind the advice that you're giving competitors.
Right.
How do you all of a sudden transition from being an athlete to the position you're in now?
Well, being a physician really helped me get a better understanding of the physiology and everything. I was always, I grew up, as soon as I started doing gymnastics in high school, I was reading Muscle and Fitness and Muscular Development and reading the magazines and learning about the whole industry, everything from the supplementation to the nutrition to the, just training in general. So I really had it as a hobby going all the way through it. So I always took interest in it, even in my studies. So when I was studying biochemistry as an undergrad and physiology, and then taking that into my master's, and then taking it into medical school, all of the stuff that I was learning, I was always applying to my training, in whatever way it was. So whenever new supplements came out, I would read about it. I wouldn't just read about it in the magazines. I would read about it in the library back then. You couldn't even get it online. It was like basically you'd go and find the microfiche and read about whatever. Remember those days? Anyway, so
you were looking at the research.
I was looking at the science, and I was involved in doing research as part of my undergraduate work as well as my undergraduate projects on creatine and HMB at Iowa State, which is where HMB came from, and it's the breakdown product of leucine.
Yep.
All right, so and then going into my research in my master's program and then in medical school, I always used that as a way to learn. And then along the way, as I started bodybuilding, I started deciding I'm going to start writing more about this kind of stuff. Let other people know that some of the bro science out there really is just that. It's bunk science. And so, trying to apply those principles to my own training I think really helped me to get a jump start right away when I started bodybuilding. It was like natural, just kind of took off. And learning how to recover correctly, learning how to avoid injuries, learning how to recover from the injuries that I had, and then taking that into my interest in nutrition. I've developed that over the years and developed it into a nutrition consulting company for both developing new supplements as well as helping train people. So over the years, I've made that hobby almost a second job. But
absolutely.
It's the one you really love doing, right?
Right. That's
Not
your
that I don't
passion.
love operating. I love operating too, but and that pays the bills as well. But it's great to have kind of both of those worlds. Part of it's stress relief, even though sometimes this can be stressful.
Yeah.
But it definitely is more stress relief than it is
Absolutely.
adding to my life. So I like to add to other people's lives.
Right. Well, giving back is obviously something that a lot of people don't understand in some aspects, and others they understand that when they give, the more they give, the more they get back themselves.
Yeah, it comes back.
And it absolutely does. Do you find that nowadays you're running into people having less scientific understanding and not being able to deal with things like injuries properly because maybe everybody's now on this fast track? I need it today. I need it yesterday. Maybe they're pushing the envelope more than they should be. Is it taking away from physiques, or was there less knowledge back then, and so it was harder to get where they needed to then?
I think what we have to realize is that we can't be an expert at everything. So just as you would go to your accountant to do your taxes, or your doctor to draw your blood and get your labs and tell you what's going on there, and when it comes to bodybuilding, you go to the people who know. You go to Mandus, you go to Midwest Muscle Report and learn about things that we were writing about. And you learn about things from reputable sources that can give you referenced material that actually comes from real science. And the science is constantly changing, so if you're not constantly looking to those people, you're going to be behind. And one thing that I might be telling you to do now might be different 5 years from now because we learned something along the way. And if you are stagnant and you do the same thing for 10 years straight, you know you're doing something wrong. So we have to constantly evolve, and that's what Midwest Muscle Report should be about, right?
Absolutely.
It's going to help you evolve into a better athlete and do it through not only the knowledge and the current understandings, but learning from the mistakes that we've made.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
So
Correct.
don't make those mistakes because trust me, you don't need that little incision right there or that incision there, whatever you need, whatever you got. You got to just try and learn from those who know. And,
I think
we know.
Right.
Right?
I absolutely. I think there's less understanding. People have conversations all over the place, and social media has almost corrupted the fact that people think they absolutely know because information is at their fingertips, but it's where are you getting the information from? And can you trust your sources? And then when you can trust your sources, oftentimes what is probably a right answer in one genre is not necessarily the right answer in what we do.
Sure.
And so you have people going back and forth and back and forth. And that's part of why we have you here and part of why we've added a whole new page. It's a professional's perspective, okay? We have, those of us who think we're pretty well versed still understand that there's a lot to learn. and you have decades of schooling behind you and reference material to kind of go back and show us and understand why is it that my knee was able to recover as fast as it was, but there's some motor skills that are not firing quite properly, and what adjustments do I need to make? These are the conversations that I can't have with the person on Instagram.
On Midwest Muscle Report, and you kind of write about it, you can read about it. We're going to get these articles going real soon here, and I'm really looking forward to working with my friends in the Midwest.
Great. We're happy to have you on board. We couldn't be more excited, and we look forward to running into you soon.
Thanks, man.
Look for his first article to be coming out later this week.
All right.
And until then,
check out the leucine factor diet.
There you go, guys.
And the app that goes with it. It's fantastic.
Fantastic. Easy, fast. Guys, it's been a pleasure. Mandus Buckle with Dr. Prisk, Midwest Muscle Report. Until next time.